There are a lot of reasons you might go for raised beds in your garden. Maybe you have bad soil, maybe you just like the look of them, but let me tell you, raised beds are an easy DIY project that can add a lot of value to your garden space. And I'm going to show you today how to make a really simple raised garden bed. Trust me, it's easy. Even I can do it.
Okay, let's talk materials. For this project, what you will need are boards, screws, drill bit, and 1x1 or 2x2 pieces of wood that you can use for corner supports and cross support. I used 12-inch boards. They were 12 inches tall by 2 inches deep. For my plans, I'm making a 24-inch garden bed, so there's actually going to be 2 of these that go on top of each other. There's nothing magical about that. You can go 8-inch boards, 10-inch boards if you want. It all just depends on the size that you are looking for your garden bed. For screws, I suggest splurging a little bit and getting screws that have more than just the Phillips head on them. You can find screws that are great for wood projects that have like a 10-point grip, and it comes with its own drill bit, and that I switched to halfway through the project and it was amazing. But that is enough talking. Let's get this garden bed put together. So it's actually a pretty simple process. I use these little 1x1s that I'm going to use in the box anyway, and I use those to get the boards off the ground to make them a little easier to manipulate. But look, you just kind of put the corners together. I put in 3 screws, one on the top, one in the middle, one on the bottom of each board when I was fixing it to the smaller 3-foot board. I think that was good to keep it secure. If you're being stingy on your screws, you could probably get away with 2. You'll have to let me know how it goes. Feel free to learn from my mistakes here though. Number 1, drill bit pilot holes are your friend, which means before just trying to put the screw right into the wood, go ahead and drill a hole that you will then put the screw into. And then finally, you can see here I'm putting those supports. There's a lot of extra on top, right? I have my 12-inch boards, and then it looks like it's sticking up another 12 to 14 inches above that. And that's because I'm making 24-inch tall garden beds. You could just do the 12-inch, and if that's the case, you can just chop off that extra if you want. But I did like having the tops of those 1x1 wood pieces for transportation purposes. They worked as great handles as we were moving them from the garage to the yard. So if you're not building yours in your yard, it is nice to kind of just have a little bit of a handle that you could use. You can get a handle on it. Another thing we dealt with was wood warp. Now all of these boards are unlikely to be perfectly straight, and so you're gonna have to make some decisions about where you want some give to make sure they're going together correctly. Maybe it won't line up exactly perfect, and that's fine. What you're seeing here is an important cross-beam support, and what happens is over time the soil and the water and everything in your garden bed is going to push against the walls of your garden bed, and if you don't have a cross support there, you might see some warping over time. The wood might deteriorate a little faster and it might not do as good of a job as keeping in your soil. We're not going to cover in this video what soil to put in. There's a lot to talk about. We're also not talking about how to water or vertical supports or anything. We'll save that for other videos. But really, once you got this in your garden, you can put in some soil and you can get planting. And so far for us, it has been a night and day difference. We had terrible rocky soil, and I mean, look for yourself. This is a vast improvement. We were giving out vegetables left and right because we couldn't eat them all. Thanks for joining us. Go ahead and hit subscribe on this video if you liked it, so you don't miss our next tip or trick on how to garden in Utah and the surrounding Rocky Mountain West. I'm Kenny. This has been so fun. I'll see you next time on the Mountain West Garden Guide. Yeah, that's gonna be stuck in my head.